Yeah, well, I was creating up stories of, and it was all ended up pertaining to around him not being upset when something happens.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Mm-hmm.
and how I wanted him to, take the proper steps in order to not have a meltdown. Where I would like to see him. So.
So then you called your mom in, and how did that change things? Because I think this is just what I was
My
looking
mom agreed with me, so she changed one of the scenarios.
Okay.
No, Grandma.
Yeah, but you were just telling me to write one thing down, and I'm like, well, we got to do a story.
It was the idea being we really wanted to focus on dynamic skills, not static skills. Remember, that's the whole focus of RDI.
Right.
So we want him. How do you?
Yeah, but each of the stats, dynamic skills that we were thinking of, all ended up being based around his emotions of able to deal with the situation.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. Because that's what I wanted to talk about today, is what do you think the obstacles are? Let's go over this a little bit. Where we'd like to see Skylar in 5 years. You said Skylar's walking down the hall at school, and some kids that he knows call him a name, but in a joking, friendly manner, as kids tend to do when messing with each other. Skylar smiles and laughs, and is genuinely happy and not upset by this, and goes to his locker with a mindset of having a wonderful day.
But see, in my mind, that's a two-part thing.
Okay?
One, he blows it off and still can deal with his day, fine. Two, does he understand the intent of what somebody's saying? You know what I'm saying? I mean, guys mess around all the time and call each other names and call your mama this and whatever.
Right.
You know, and a lot of that's playful.
Correct.
So is he able to understand that the difference between somebody playing with him or somebody having a mean intent?
Well, and both of those are higher level dynamic skills, because that's what I wanted to talk about today. That scenario right there, can you identify what the obstacles are for him right now, that he couldn't do that?
That he wouldn't, that he would actually take them seriously and be upset about it, and and just saying, oh, they're being mean to me, they're not being very good friends, when it's hard for him to actually read somebody to know that they're joking.
Exactly. Exactly. He can't distinguish joking from meanness,
Right.
because he doesn't have the ability to have that broader perspective. There's your obstacle. That's where the autism gets in the way. They can only mean that they're being mean to me. And so you're absolutely right. That is the obstacle, that he cannot distinguish between what's a joke and what is intended to hurt my feelings. And he probably has a hard time understanding that anybody would do anything. Why would you even say something if you didn't mean it? Exactly. That is the
That's how he
obstacle.
is, yeah.
That's what the autism is. One way of thinking about this. That even if you said to him, well, maybe they're joking, he can't even consider that as a possibility, because it doesn't make sense in his world. It's one way, that rigidity, that inflexibility that we see as autism. So you're absolutely right in figuring out that is an obstacle. And so that's why that's why I like this mission preview is of you're hoping that when he's in 5 years, he'll be how old? He'll be about 16.
Because they
That-
will be doing that in high
Right.
school.
They do that in junior high.
Well,
When I was in junior high, we used to gather around
yeah, but
and joke about each other's parents.
yeah, but we're talking about 5 years from now, from like what I would like to see, where I would like to see him.
But and it probably is going on right now in middle
It can,
school.
yeah.
We protect him to a certain extent by being in the autism program and moving as a group. They move as a class, and there's the classroom assistants are always with them. So we try to monitor and prevent bullying and stuff. But you're absolutely right. I see. Sound like perfect guiding things.
Oh,
Where
yeah.
You do it, and he does the same thing as you, right behind you. You're going to have one horse, he's going to have it. Because if you think he's ready for that with Seeker, what a perfect way to set up a guided participation, and you can just build on it from day to day to day.
Yeah.
Where he has to reference you, he has to follow you, rather than giving him directives. And this way, if something doesn't go right, he can understand that it's okay. Because that's where you're going to build in the resilience, which is then he won't feel this real need to have all this control, because he has this need to control control things a certain way because he can't handle things that don't go exactly, he doesn't know how they're gonna go. So he's trying, since he can't predict it, he's gonna try to keep it the same. And he has to learn that if he spills it, or if he can't, or if it doesn't, if some of the water sloshes out or
Yeah.
something, it's okay. So I think you have a pretty good
Well, see,
opportunity here.
because what I like about him coming out to the farm, a lot of things around there with the horses, especially if things change up. All right, enough, because I was doing grain and I just stood there and like the barn managers are like on the other side of the barn, they're just kind of listening because they know what's going on with Skylar. And I said, Skylar, if you're gonna be upset, you know where you need to go to calm down. Otherwise, I don't want to hear it. It's done. Okay? I still need you to do stuff. So here's the bucket. Go put it in Hawk's stall. He's like, okay. And then he snapped out of it, and he just started helping me feed the horses again. And so then my mom, like later on, she was all, oh, Skylar, come in the shade. And he's all, no, I want to go over here. I said, so I'm walking down with the horses, and I'm all, Mom, leave him alone. And she goes, I'm not bothered. I said, yes, you are. I said, remember, he's been here without you before. He knows what to do. He knows where to go. Just let him do his thing. I said, stop.
Yeah, bringing her is probably not such a good thing.
Yeah.
But I'm proud of you because you were setting a limit.
Mhm.
Because the limits really are what you need to, that's what we really want to talk about. That's what you don't want Skylar to do. You want it's setting a limit so it's what he can't get away with. So what you're essentially saying to him was, you're not gonna whine, you're gonna do what I told you to do. Good job, Mom. And he followed through.
Yeah, because I basically, I told him, I said, if you want to continue to be upset, then you need to go over there, like across the farm, sit down on a bench, do what you need to do, and then come back and help me. Because it was, because I told him that's before, because he did it one time before, but it was a while back. And I just told him, I said, go sit down, and then when you're ready to help me, then come back.
Very good, because the limit and reviewing it beforehand is probably a good idea, and making sure that the consequences are clear so that you're being proactive and not reactive. Because then we wind up saying stupid things like, if you do that, then you can't, ever drive a car,
Yeah.
rather than, so if you remind him, this is what you have to do, and then he knows so if you've already established what the consequences, remember, if you don't do this, then you're gonna have to go sit in timeout until you're ready to come back to the task. But I'm wondering, what at the farm can you think about might be some really good opportunities for the two, because we're really gonna, after we focus on limit setting this time and maybe next at the most, we're gonna be moving towards where we have to go, which is really the child objectives, which is making GPRs a lifestyle change. It's gonna have to be built in all the time. I mean, essentially that's what it is. It's committing, the next goal that we're gonna be working on is committing to GPR as a lifestyle.